What is going on, Soapy Spacers? It's your boy Soapy Space, and today we're gonna do a little bit of art touring, or just going through my art that I've done, which isn't a lot, but I'm planning on doing a little bit more now for no reason in particular. Well, there is a reason, and I'll show you why the reason is. Sorry for the bad quality, but these are pretty much all of my art supplies, and I'll be honest, I haven't used much of any of this, which is why I'm making this video. For instance, I have a whole collection of Sharpies that I haven't opened, two boxes of origami, 4 stacks of paper that I never use, colored paper, construction paper, some of the crayons I use, canvases, melty beads, you know, that you can like make little pixel figurines and stuff, sketchbooks that are empty, art supplies, paints, watercolors, water notebooks, sketchbooks in the back. I have pretty much everything, and I don't do anything with it. And despite having all of that at my disposal, I only have this much. And no, it's not all full. It's like literally one page yes, one page no, and it's like not even halfway. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm trying to do this and try to expand my artistic horizon and my skills as an artist. And yeah, I just want to be more productive. So we're gonna be starting off with my very first notebook. Yeah, here it has volume 1. So, like, this was the start of it. This was my first sketchbook. It doesn't have the, you know, the hardcover anymore, but you know, still has all the good stuff in it. So let's take a look at it. So when you open the book, you see this squid, and this was my very first design that I made for this book. I believe I saw the post on Facebook and I really enjoyed it. As you can see, I didn't do a lot of much shading because I didn't know how to do shading at all. Matter of fact, I don't think I still know how to do shading today. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I like the design, and that tag on the side is my cousin's. You know, he was a graffiti artist, and that was his tagger mark. So yeah, gonna get a little bit of close-up detail. You know, I really enjoyed how I did those eyes. I didn't give it a signature yet because I hadn't figured out a signature, but you know, eventually down the line you'll start seeing more pieces having them. This one right here, Saiyan by day, Ozaro by night, was one of my favorite pieces to make. I believe I did this one when I was like in middle school, and yeah, you can see that Dragon Ball was my thing, and up to this day I still look forward to having art that's related to Dragon Ball or anything animated related. You may notice that in this sketchbook I also have a bunch of stickers, so a lot of the pages that like bleed through the other side will eventually get covered with stickers. But back to the main piece, this Thor frog. I actually didn't know this was an actual thing until later on in life. I just thought it was a cool image of a frog dressed up as Thor, but it was actually a thing. I'll put up a official picture up here right now. And yeah, I believe this was also during my 2017 run. I was just trying to fill up this book as much as possible, and yeah. Now here's a unique take. This is what we call alebrijes, which is basically spirit guides to the afterlife. It's those creatures that come out in the movie Coco. Put up some pictures up here. Yeah, I really enjoyed designing alebrijes when I was younger. This was my original design. I really enjoyed the green and the black like spiral effect on his body. Some of it looks a little choppy because I didn't know what I was doing at that point, but you know, the end result, I like that strip of light in the background. Yeah, I'd give this one like a 7.5 out of 10. Here we have a hell hydrant. Yeah, pretty clever, I know. But That's how you know that I was just using whatever I had at my disposal. Like these markers, like for some reason left this like after effect on it when I closed the book, and it's like if it was just out in the sun for like a while. It does add a cool effect to it, but you know, I wish it didn't, but what can you do about it? Here we have two more pieces that I saw from Facebook. I saw this one about Mewtwo and I thought, damn, that's pretty dope. I want to do that. I did it, and then I saw this one and I thought, hey, that's pretty funny. I'm going to do it. Freddy Krueger and a Dreamcatcher. How ironic. Here we have a little piece of Grogu looking at a frog, ready to eat it. This is probably when The Mandalorian came out, so a lot of Grogu art was popping up a lot, so, you know, had to jump on that bandwagon. Really enjoyed making this one. Took me a little bit longer than expected, but the end result was fantastic. I believe this was part of a YouTube channel. If I'm correct, something sandwich. I'll hook it up in the comments down below or right here on the screen. I'll figure something out. But yeah, the mask. Also, again, a Facebook post. Saw it and I thought it was pretty funny, pretty cool, and you know, decided to give it a go, and this was the result for it. I thought this was a pretty clever one. Not in my town. Little cop holding a mushroom. Paper Mario just looking at him. Like I said, once I have like Dragon Ball or like anime stuff in here, like that's what really made this worth it. Like, I just wanted to fill up this whole notebook with like a bunch of like references and art styles like this. Oh, this was really fun to make. That Kurama, the Shenron, and like all these Naruto and Dragon Ball references. Like this was, I believe this is like one of my favorite pieces in this sketchbook. Here's an interesting piece. This is one of my coworker's dog. His name is Pistachio, so I wanted to do that art style, like a stencil art style, but instead of just filling in the dark areas with like just black ink, I did it writing his entire name. Pistachio, 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 pistachio. And then if you zoom out, it's Pistachio. Haha. Speaking about Spider-Man and Brand New Day, this was one of my favorite pieces also. I really enjoyed making this whole yellow back screen and like his spider senses tingling with his battle damaged suit and stuff. I really enjoyed how the Spider-Man came out. Like, this is one of my best pieces in this notebook also, alongside with that Kurama / Shenron piece. Dope. You know that one friend that doesn't know what he's doing and he's just there for the vibe? Yeah. That's what this guy's doing. We got a Feebas and a Magikarp. I don't know what I was planning to do with this. I was probably gonna do something more than just this, but you know, I ain't got no complaints. Image speaks for itself. I really need to color this in. Here's some actual concept art of my original characters. The one on the left is Oshi, and the one on the right is Garvo. This is before I decided to make them into like actual like Soapyverse characters, like original characters. I was just doodling at this point, and then I decided, hey, why don't I just make these like actual characters? And yeah, that's how we have Oshi and Garvo. Here we have some just sketches that I haven't colored in that I should. 70% cool. A Psyduck using a tentacle for a hat, and an alien Kermit the Frog. I don't know. I'm pretty sure these were all like Facebook posts at one point, and I was just like, these are pretty dope. But yeah, I need to color these fools in. You know, I wasn't much of a graffiti artist, but you know, once in a while I tip my toes in the pool. WTRB, you know, Wu-Tang Radio bitch. And then I had to adopt basically a tag name. So, you know, when I was younger, they used to call me Mowgli, like from the Jungle Book, and I was like, yeah, I'll make that into it. That's how you get this. Here we go, another perfect piece, but also because of the black ink and all that yellow stuff, residue is left. Can't complain. Still looks good. 10 out of 10. See, right here, I was already planning on characters for like my multiverse, like my little soapyverse and stuff like that. Like, these are all different versions of me. Here is another attempt of mine to do graffiti, also my Mongoli tag. I don't know if this was supposed to be a Donald Duck, but you know, I saw it and I liked it. That's why it's here. Here we have a little stencil of my cousin that got me into graffiti, with a little stamp of my tag across his eyes because he said he didn't want me to show his face. Some simple sketches, a little bit of Ed, a little bit of Fist of the North Star. Here's my first attempt at a stencil, and this image was of my father, my late father. I tried to give it a go, didn't come out as I thought it would, but you know, out of respect, I kept it in here. I'm gonna retry it one day eventually, and yeah, I'll finally give it justice. Here's another cool piece, the classic pink shirt Vegeta, and the Piccolo from that driving episode, but I decided to add my own twist to it. Some Autobot Decepticon art, something simple. I feel like it fixes somehow, but for right now, leave it as it is. Again, probably another Facebook post with that alien. This postcard was my very first like sticker postcard that I did. My cousin gave it to me. He's like, let's see what you can do. And for some reason, I was thinking about the Fairly Odd Parents, and I thought about Timmy's dad and how he's just like Dinkelberg. So that's what I went for, and yeah, that's what I came up with. So the funny thing about this was that I came up with the design, like just them, and then I was like, oh, what can I do for like the background? And I was like, well, these guys always look like they're tripping out on something, so I was like, let's do the background where it's just like tripping, like there's no pattern, it's just random stuff. So I just like started swirling dots everywhere and lines, and then that generation fuck you was a sticker that I had, and I was like, I don't know why this fits, so I just put it there, and yeah, that's how I got this. Here we go with another alebrije. You know, simple design. I feel the blue is a little bit too saturated. I feel I could have done a little bit more detail on it, but you know, for the time, I thought this was pretty dope. So for this one, I literally wanted to go literal, like a literal scarecrow, a literal lion. The Tin Can is a Tin Man, and Dorothy is basically a crazy girl, which is why the caption is, we're no longer in Kansas anymore. I don't know, I thought it was pretty funny, and yeah. Another graffiti art of my tag, Mongoli. Here we have another unfinished alebrije. I told you, I really like doing alebrijes. And a stencil art of a coworker. I wasn't really proud of it. You know, I feel I could have done better, but you know, you win some, you lose some. So, yeah. I feel these guys were like a heavy influence for like the Hereditarian characters that I made. Especially like Petunia with that X on her eye and stuff like that. Like, I feel these guys played a huge part in it. I really like this one. I like the contrast of like the angel and the devil, but they're both still making fun of you and stuff like that. Yeah. Give this one a 10 out of 10. I guess we have like a literal spider monkey / turtle. I think it's like a mutant creature. I don't know. I really like the sketch art. I don't know if I should leave it like this or continue with it. I would just leave it like this as it is, just because it looks cool. I don't know. Leave a comment down below. What do you think? Great. Now we have another page that's unfinished. I believe I was looking up like a bunch of YouTubers that did like collage, like doodles like this, and I was like, yeah, I want to give it a try, and I guess I gave up at the very end. No idea what I was going with this, but looks pretty dope. Have no idea what I was going for. I think these were just like monsters or like cartoons, or I don't know what I was going for this, but and that was my very first notebook. As you can tell, you probably noticed that I did like a lot of like graffiti stuff. I think it was because when I was in middle school, I was really into graffiti, which is why most of the pieces were like me like doing tags, or like if the cartoon or the little drawing that I was doing, it was hella used with the Sharpie. Like I wasn't using crayons, colored pens, like none of that. I was like straight up like like if I was just tagging something. So I feel that's where this notebook was like heavily inspired. In my youth, it was like a lot of graffiti, because I grew up with graffiti because of my cousins, and also because I just thought every time that I was like in TJ or like in areas where it was like not a lot of like high class people, like there's a lot of whatchamacallit, like graffiti, and yeah, I think that's where that stemmed from. So yeah, that's the first notebook or art book, whatever. Next sketchbooks, what I was going for was like the scribble challenge, where it's like you scribble something and then, or you have somebody scribble something on a page and then you make something out of that scribble. That's what these next pieces are basically about. I don't have like videos of me doing it, but I have like what the original scribble was, and obviously you're gonna see the end result. So yeah, let's take a look at those. So for this piece, I decided to make it like celestial beings. Also, if you notice down there, you're gonna see another version of Oshi. That was like the more like refined version. Like this is basically almost the end result of him, but like still need a little few tweaks. I also added the hand from Smash Bros. You know, just to add a little bit of variety to the celestial being. This one was a fun one. This one was scribbled by a coworker named Darcy. She's the one that did the circle primarily. I told her to scribble, she did that, and I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. And then I remember the movie Anastasia, and I remember the bat holding Rasputin's eye, and I was like, hey, perfect. Again, another coworker did this for me. I told him to scribble, he literally gave me a full-on Yoshi, so yeah, I went on and implied on that aspect of it. Here is another scribble by the same person that made the Yoshi. Now this time he actually did a scribble, and this is what I got from it. I believe it was like some kaiju stuff, because I don't know if those are like mountains of Japan, and I was like, oh, those are pretty cool. So yeah. And then we got a whole lot of nothing. This piece was from a dude I knew. He did the scribble, you know. I think this is the first drawing that I used pastel markers. Now this one is like the top one out of all the scribbles. Like, this was made by a friend of mine. Her name was Ashley. She hella did of a scribble, and you know, I took inspiration from Courage the Cowardly Dog, obviously, but this creation of mine, I was like, what can I do? And like, oh, like this is my favorite piece out of all the scribble challenges. This one is my favorite one. And for the final one, we got Fish Hooked. Yep. I like the SpongeBob and the Patrick in the background, the Bikini Bottom Island. I have no idea what I was trying to do with this creature. I was just like, yeah, it looks like something's getting hooked or pulled, you know. And yeah, that's how I came up with this one. Now we're just gonna go into the only two sketchbooks that I have. I believe this piece was for like an Inktober. I forgot what year. I think the concept was like darkness or light or something like that. And also part of the Inktober thing. This one was Hope. So I basically recreated the side of the time machine from the Dragon Ball series during the Android saga, where Trunks came back from the future. Yeah, this is the side of the time machine. Hope. Here we go with another day. This was Armory. Like I said, those black markers, I wasn't really thinking about like the after effect of them. I was just using like a super dark like ink marker, and the concept of Buddy, of course, it's Goku and Krillin. Very simple, very. I think I just did this one on a rush. I think I was just trying to meet the deadline. So it says ominous for this one. So sorry, Full Metal Alchemist fans. It's the only thing I could think of. Oni-chan. If you know, you know. If you don't, go watch Full Metal Alchemist. Now this is one of the pieces that I'm very proud of also. This was back in 2021. This was based off a friend of mine from work. She no longer works there, but you know, I still keep in contact with her. I used to call her Fat Girl because she was pregnant. And you know, ever since she gave birth, I still call her Fat Girl. But yeah, this is like one of my first like actual like I tried like really hard pieces, and yeah, I like the results of it. I could have added a little bit on the background, like instead of having it white, but I was like, yeah, I don't care. Like the shading itself shows how much like I tried, even though it's not the perfect shading, but you know, it is what it is. Here we move on to the Pokemon fusions. I went on this website where it's like a Pokemon fusion generator, and I just did like random picks. So this is a Lickybok, Lickitung, and a Arbok fused together. We have a Goldizar, which is a Charizard and a Goldeen fused together. This one's pretty sick, I like the color. We got Mooshnite, which is a Musharna and a Dragonite fusion. I really like this one. And we have a B9, a Beedrill, and an Arcanine fused together. This one's a little bit wonky, you know, but I gave it my best shot. Here we have another doodle page. I believe I didn't finish this one. Oh, look, see? Oshi and Petunia and Barco and Garvor here, like a little bit more fleshed out. But yeah, I should really get to finish these pieces because I don't know, I feel like these would be really cool, like all filled out with different variety of colors and styles. So yeah. And again, the rest of the sketchbook is just blank. For the next pieces, I was really into Pokemon Go at the time, and I was basically making teams between Team Valor, Team Instinct, and Team Mystic. And you know, I had friends, co-workers that were playing that game, so I was like, hey, give me your team, and we're gonna roll some dice real quick, or like just generate random numbers between the Pokemons that were at the time. And yeah, so it was your team, whichever team you were playing, and then we would roll 6 numbers out of the exact numbers of Pokemon that were out at the time. And depending what number you got is the Pokemon that you got. So there was like a bunch of like weird, strange combinations of Pokemon that you would never want or use together, but that's what the idea was. So obviously I was up first. I was Team Valor at the time, and yeah, this was my team. Not the best, but also not that bad. I really like the Kangaskhan in the background, and I don't know, it just feels very intimidating, despite that it's just like with a baby in its belly. But yeah, this was my team, and this was my take on it. I gave one for my mom. I asked her if she played this game, what team she would be. She chose Team Valor, and this was her team, which I'm pretty jelly of. She got a Blastoise and a Psyduck, like, oh, 2 of my favorite Pokemon. Like, come on, like, my mom looks legit. I like how I made a whatchamacallit, like a Pokeball as her necklace, and I made her like kind of like a queen, like a gym leader, like, because it's my mom. So yeah. And here we have the first Instinct member. This was based off a coworker named Jose. You know, he got a Victini, he got a Cyndaquil, a Wartortle, a Haunter. Oh fuck, I forgot the other 2 dudes' names, but I like that legendary Kung Fu Bear. Like, I was like, damn. Like, he got 2 legendaries, if anything. Well, legendary and mythical, so yeah. Another coworker, his name was Juan. Didn't really like his team, so I made him like discard every other Pokemon that he had besides the Squirtle that he really enjoyed having on his team. Here we have another Team Instinct. I don't associate myself with this guy anymore, but you know, I thought it was a cool piece that Charizard and the Incineroar just looking at each other like, I can fuck you up, you know. And then all the other side character Pokemon. Another Team Instinct. Team Instinct was pretty popular. This is also based off an ex-coworker. Doesn't work with us anymore, but you know, he has his own thing going on. He's Chula Vista Muppet. If anybody's heard of him, yeah, that's him. I think his is pretty like dynamic with the two serpent-like ones. He's got a Hypno, the Manta, and the Parasect. You know, this one is pretty cool. I like this one. Oh, and also he has the freaking Metapod with him. And here we have some that I did not finish, which I believe I should. So yeah, here's a Team Marissa. Then we got a Team Grindel. I kind of have an idea what I was going for this one. A lot of Bellsprouts for these guys. Then we have a Team Marisol, followed by a Team Estrella. Her team is like pretty legit. Like I was like, damn. And Team Mariana. Now you may be thinking, there's only 5 Pokemon there. No, there's a huge Wailord behind her. And now we're gonna reach the final part where it's just a binder with the characters that I've made that I've done individually without a sketchbook. So yeah, you're gonna see more of my original characters. So let's go. So when I create these characters, I usually make like a color grid for them so that I don't forget what colors I use to make them. Yeah, this is my way of memorizing them and stuff like that. So yeah, these are the characters and here are their color schemes, and if anybody is interested in seeing what I use for them. And here is the other side for the other ones. Yeah, I got a few. So my concept was like I wanted to use that, like you know how Fortnite has like their chapter 1, season 1, chapter 1, season 2. I wanted to do that. Like 1 year was a chapter, each month was a season. So basically this was, I don't even know what date this was, but it's basically year 1, January. And these are the characters that I did that day or that month. As you can see, some months I didn't do as much, and then some months I did plenty. So this would be chapter 1, season 3, chapter 1, season 4. And then this is how you could tell like when characters were introduced, who they were introduced to. So like they all semi have like their own groups. I'm the only one that stays consistent because, you know, I'm their creator. So yeah. Some early concept art of Oshi and Petunia. See right there, I try to do like the Marvel format where they give an Earth. So technically, Oshi and Petunia are from the God plane, which has no Earth number. But before I thought about that, I always thought they were going to be Earth 76031. Here are some super early concept arts for Oshi before I wanted to do his final design. I thought like of a peppermint, a spiral spinning design, but in the end I decided to just go with the design that he has today. I don't know what this is. I believe it was like a werewolf unicorn. Looks a little suggestive with that little fur part in the middle, but you know, you know what? I can do something about this. I'm gonna fix this guy. I'm gonna make him an official character, and I'm gonna make him like less of whatever's going on here. Also, early art for Barku. This was his design, his original design before I integrated him a little bit more. If you're interested in seeing these types of drawings, go to my YouTube shorts, and some of my character designs that I draw are uploaded on there. So if you want to see how I created this, go down to the shorts. This was an experimental piece of art, all the Hereditarians. This is like almost the finished design for everybody except for Barku, who's orange for some reason. Yeah, I literally changed it to a teal blue. The scribble in the back was like a little art experiment to see if the art style would work with this. It somewhat works, but you know, I feel I could have done a little bit better. I feel like I rushed this piece a little bit, but I really like it. And Oshi has his third eye open, so that's cool. I wanted to give my own take on the Akatsuki, so I used all my main, my original characters. That one's pretty cool. I like this piece. Halloween, the spirit of Halloween. One of my original character designs. She's my favorite holiday character so far. But I doubt I'll make anything better than her. So, yeah. We have Dolphin here in his original sketch. Kimberly, also final sketch. Zaza, the spiritual Cyclops. Then we got the cool skater Alex. I really like that board that I designed for him. Then we got Undo, the Fire Lord Prince, and his cool style. Then we got Marina, the Mermaid Cyclops. I really like the spikes, or the marks that I have around her. Then we got little Sophia, the Harpy. Then we have Dina and Sam, both angelic beings. I need to come up with the backstory for them. So when I came with the idea for Halloween, I wanted to make every holiday into an embodiment and make them all siblings. So this is Grace Givings, the embodiment of Thanksgiving, and basically she's like the older sister for Halloween. And we got my boy Sylvester, a Spinosaurus heavily inspired by a toy that I saw in a commercial back when I was a kid. I believe it was Imaginext Spinosaurus. I'll put up an image if I can find one. But yeah, this guy's legit. I really love dinosaurs, so I had to give Sylvester a buddy. You know, gotta give him Terry the Tyrannosaurus, with a unique style. Next up we have Timmy, Booth, and Sir Kensington. Basically these are all just weird looking creatures that come from an Earth where everybody has googly eyes just like them and have funny hats. That's it. That's all the concept is. Funny looking creatures with googly eyes and funny hats. That's it. Here is a Ninetales named Corey. I was requested this by a subscriber or a follower on Instagram. I post a lot of stuff on Instagram and TikTok, so I get like random message requests for character designs. So yeah, this is what they asked for, and here it is. His name is Corey. Again, another request from a TikTok follower. You know, she said, can you make like a caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland and stuff like that? And I was like, I'll give it a try. I'll give it my own spin, and this is how I came up with Fern. Bo McBuffin. Bo McBuffin was one of my very creative ideas. I thought, why not make a boxing box? So basically, backstory, just like Daredevil's dad was a boxer, was throwing fights for the mafia, and then one day he decided not to do it, so they murdered him, and all his gear was just thrown into a cardboard box, and like all that rage that was left over from him being killed off basically made him into this. So whenever his gear is inside of a box or anything enclosed, that item becomes Bo McBuffin. And for my latest creation, we got Zenobia the zombie. What more can I say? You know, she was picked apart, or not picked apart, she was put together by different parts of different people, all rotten, and she became sentient, and that's what we got here. I really like her design that I made for her, so thanks. Now here we have Pedro, the illegal alien. So his backstory was basically he crash landed in Mexico back in like the 1960s, 70s, and yeah, he was adopted by a family of 13 children, so he was number 14. He grew up in a Mexican household, knew Spanish only, and whenever he travels across like worlds and other locations, they'll try to speak to him in Spanish, and his whole gimmick is him saying "¿Qué?" or what, basically. And yeah, this is Pedro the illegal alien. Oh, this image right here was inspired heavily by this image on screen right now. Yeah, so I wanted to do that concept of like the Goku versus Superman type thing. I had to introduce myself, so this is me versus a character known as Diabolico, which is basically like the devil of my aka Soapyverse, my universe that I created. And since I'm the creator, I inserted myself and I am known as the divinity. So yeah, this is that. Good versus evil. Or more like creator versus destroyer. Here we have Afilalo. Afilalo is basically like a whole mold of different metals combined. He has like magnetic metal powers. He can control literally any type of metal. He can bend it, mold it, fuse it. Like, he can do anything with metal that can happen to metal. So yeah, Afilalo, which is Spanish for sharp. Right here we have a cluster of my characters. We have Kelstra, the one in the red, Bulbius, the hammerhead shark, Pedro, the illegal alien, and Roger, which is a leprechaun. And yeah, they're all posing for a picture. Someone saying cheese. You know, Kelstra has a very negative attitude. He's like, oh, I hate you. Bulbius is very childish. He actually says cheese. Pedro, like I said, when you talk to him in English, he just goes, ¿qué? And then the leprechaun says gold because he's a leprechaun. So yeah. And then we got two of the chillest dudes in the Soapyverse. The dude in the blue, his name is Dolphin. He's an alien from outer space. And Jose Winteria is a wiener that's just sentient. And he has a beard and a man bun. So yeah, pretty chill guys. And then the rest of the sketchbook is a whole lot of nothing. So those are basically every art piece that I have in sketchbooks and stuff like that. I have worked on like posters. I have posted on my shorts like the different collages that I have, which is what I have right here. So this is like one of my biggest projects so far, where I just made like a whole collage of like early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, and probably not that late 2000s, but cartoons. So basically, if you grew up on something like this whole piece is is for you. So yeah, that whole collage is one big poster of like 90s and 2000s cartoons. But that's not the only one, because there's a part 2 that I haven't even finished yet. There's still some space over here in the top corners where I want to fill it up a little bit more. But there is a part 2, and you know, the idea is that I'm gonna put all of these side by side together on a wall. So it's gonna be like a whole like collage. That's why Clifford's butt's here, because it connects with the first poster that has Clifford on the other one. So yeah, so basically this is the second poster, and once I finish this one, I'm going to start a third one. So this is probably going to be like the most I'm going to put into a project. Like, I'll probably show you a little bit more about these as I progress, like, because once I start the third one, that's where everybody's going to be able to see the progress of it, because I did not do these as videos. I did these all in private, on my own, by myself, so nobody really saw the process that I did to get to this point. But once I do the third poster, that's where everybody's gonna be able to integrate. And just the final sections up here, like somebody asked me for Phineas and Ferb. I got your comment. I'm gonna add Phineas and Ferb to these. And usually when somebody asks me for a request to, like, hey, can you add this character, can you add this, if I already have the character on there, I will showcase it, and I will, tag you or mention you and be like, hey, I already got it, don't worry about it. And yeah, so if you are a 90s kid, early 2000s kid, you grew up on cartoons, and you want to see your favorite cartoon on one of my posters, collages, which eventually it probably will be on there. But if you want to be like, hey, can I have that, and like me automatically doing it instead of like, you know, nitpicking characters and stuff like that, leave a comment down below. I will be happy to take a look at it, and I would be glad to integrate it into the cartoon collage. Now, for the final part of this video, I'm gonna go way back in time to basically before elementary, and I'm gonna introduce to you what my first concept of art was. Now, I know what you may be saying. What are you doing? That's just a figurine action box of a statue. You are correct. But it's not the box itself, it's what's inside the box. So when I was a kid, obviously I didn't have money. And I didn't like asking my parents for anything because I kind of knew we were in like a money struggle. So yeah, I didn't have a lot of like action figure toys growing up. And besides the point that sometimes companies didn't make a lot of action figures based on the characters that you liked, you know? So sometimes your favorite character was, I don't know, Jefferson Smith from Max Steel. Max Steel's adopted father, you know? Like something like that. Like you, like a character that's so minor that you liked but like nobody was interested in it, and you never got a figure, right? So what did a young me do when I didn't have money, didn't have action figures, and probably a company that made the figures didn't create the character that I wanted? I would create my figures. Yeah. So yeah, I would basically make my own figurines, my own characters. For instance, this was Thanos. I believe the comic book version, you know? And it was a frontal view and a back view. Like, you even see his gauntlet right there. Like, come on. Elementary school was on to something, you know? Like, of course the proportions are a little bit off, you know? You know, the design is, you know, it is very detailed, honestly. Like, you gotta admit, I was onto something. I had dudes like The Thing. Like, oh my god, look at look at the details on this guy. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. Man, I was so innovative. Didn't have a Fantastic Four figure? No problem. I made my own. And I didn't only stick to comic book characters or Marvel in general. I also did DC. I even went into stuff like wrestling. This is John Cena. This was John Cena. Like John Cena, come on. I really this is great. This brings back so many memories. My goodness. I was onto something, you know? You know, innovation is key to success, and I succeeded in entertaining myself as a kid. My god. Let me see what else we got. I went into the box and I see what I could find that would probably be recognizable for some of you. Like, look at this. I had Darkseid from the animated Superman series. I had Uramesh from Yu Yu Hakusho, and I had a freaking red Dino Power Ranger. Like, look at this. Like, what? And also front and back, like details and stuff like that. Like, come on, dude. Like, elementary? No, this is like, I was like 8. This is 8 elementary? I don't know, like 8-year-old me, 7-year-old me was on to something. Like, this is awesome, you know? This is like one of the things that probably would make me come back to art. Like, I would want to recreate these characters and, you know, do them a little bit better, a little bit more proportioned, because I feel it's like Uramesh is not standing, obviously. Oh, you know, like Darkseid's not that small, you know. It would be cool to add like proportions to these guys, like make them their actual size, like in characters, you know, stuff like that would be amazing too. You know what? I will do that. Let me do something real quick. Hold up one sec. Well, I'm back and I decided to give it a try, and I must say, I like what I did. I kept the original concept of the whole side-by-side T-posing and the whole, you know, the structure of the figures, you know. But you know, I made it a little bit more professional. I'm gonna add a little bit more of character features on the face. That's me. I made myself. Look at this guy. This guy's cool. You know, and if I would have made myself, like, I am not Darkseid's height. Like, hell no. You know, but you get it. So I will use this as a reference since I'm 5'6". Realistically, this will be 5'6". And because of that, I made another example of another original character that I had, Bulbius, who's over 8 feet tall. So yeah, this is what I mean, that proportions and scaling will probably, I'll work on that more now that, you know, these are cool, man. I was such a smart kid, you know. I'm gonna recreate every figure that I had. I'm gonna give them justice. So on that note, I'm gonna end this video. Yeah, I'm really hoping to expand in my artistic views and hopefully show you guys what I'm working on, projects that I'm currently working on, and projects that I want to work on the future. If you're an up-and-coming or new artist that's just trying to discover their own style, hey man, I've been doing this for years and I still don't have a style. Just go with it. Do what you think is cool. If you like something, do it. If you don't do it. Explore horizons, explore new techniques, new styles, new artistic views. See what other people are doing. See if that catches your attention, and just do it. You know, because I've never seen anybody do paper figures like this ever. I've been the only one, as far as I know. So that's what I mean with just do it. So I thank everybody who stick to the end. You know, I really appreciate the support. If you're an up-and-coming artist or new artist, you know, don't worry about finding a style. Like, I've been doing this for a while and I still don't have an art style, so don't worry about that. Take your time. It will come to you eventually. I'm really excited to be here and show you guys what I'm going to be working on in the future, pieces that I'm working on, characters that I create, all that stuff. This isn't an art-based channel, like I've said in previous other videos. If you watch my channel, this is an all-out random YouTube channel. I do a little bit of everything. I do reviews, I do art, I do gameplays, I do reactions. Like I try to do a little bit of everything. If you go to my shorts, you'll see a lot of variety of stuff, and that will give you kind of the premise of what I do. So yeah, thanks a lot for sticking to the end. I really appreciate everybody. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video, whatever type it is. And yeah, thanks for watching. Soapy Space out.